Good afternoon, depending on where you're at in the world. Tori Jones from Greenlight Group here. Gonna take a quick look and wanted to get together for a video around Greenlight's integration between Micro Focus's new service portal and historical HP Service Manager that's still in use by a lot of customers today for their back-end fulfillment mechanism. So this integration becomes relevant here in 2020 as we near the end of support for Flash from Adobe. The historical service request catalog component of HP Service Manager is based on Adobe Flash. So as a result of that being end of life, customers do need to go through an effort here to get onto a new portal, if you will. The new portal we see up here on the screen on the right hand side, it is the same portal leveraged for SMACs. So there's lots of videos and stuff out there, so I won't go through and do a detailed review of the portal. We'll use it simplistically here for the sake of demonstration. Over on the right, I've got a historical service manager environment, and what I'll do is I'll show you how an end user makes a request and how a back-end technician then receives that request and handles it and processes it through, showing data flowing back and forth between what is effectively two different systems. So the request that I'm going to make here is a request new software. I've performed this search before. Upon performing that search, I see that there are some public requests I could look at, or I could take the request new service offering here that I'm going to go ahead and pick. So upon selecting it, our business justification, request new software for new role. My preferred method of contact is email. It is PC support. That is effectively what I'm asking for. And what do I want? Let's say I want Microsoft 365 Visio specifically. Now this here in our example is just a plain text field just for the sake of demonstration, but of course this can be a drop down field. It can be a lookup field against a different table. So for instance, if you wanted a software catalog, you could define that over in your Service Asset Configuration Management module. If you wanted a custom lookup table, that can be accomplished as well. Drop down lists of, a static list can obviously be accomplished as well. We've got date time fields or just pure date fields such as this one. We also have obviously plain text fields, and there's radio buttons and some other options there. Again, lots of videos cover that sort of stuff, so I don't want to dwell on it too much here. The important thing to note, though, is that these, what we classify as user options, in fact, these three questions in this case, they are specific to this particular offering, request new software. So they won't show up on any other offering, only when this offering is supported. And those can be have logic built around them. So for instance, if you wanted to ask additional questions based upon the input for what kind of software we wanted, you could drive that as well through this model. From an end user perspective, though, pretty straightforward, pretty simplistic. Just going to go ahead and click submit. I have a request here that got created. So let's go take a look at that request. It ends in 717. We can see immediately that it is in the approval phase. Obviously, I'm requesting new software. Someone else aside from me should probably review that. So that is just the workflow. In this particular case, this approval went out to one of my colleagues, and in a different screen, I'm going to go as an administrator of the portal. I'm going to go just override that approval effectively just for the sake of demonstration here, so I don't have to get Dan on the phone and get him approving that. So let me do that here quickly in the background. It's important to note that in an actual deployment, this approval could happen through the portal itself. You can see here in the upper right-hand corner, I could go look at my approvals if I wanted to. This is what it looks like. Apparently, Aaron Caffrey asked me to do something about 20 hours ago. So that's what the approver experience would be, approve or deny, or obviously you can select those to get more of the gory details. This approval and, of course, the entire catalog and service portal interaction can be managed through the native mobile apps for both Android and iOS, so that user experience is out there as well. In our case, in this particular example, 30717 was our ticket. We can now, going back into it, see that it is in a fulfillment, and a few seconds ago, my colleague Dan Schellenberger provided an approval for this. from an end user perspective, I'm just going to add a comment here just to showcase that gets over to the back-end technicians. Please provide this as soon as possible. I started my new role last week. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that comment. Okay, so now let's go take a look and see what this ticket looks like on the Service Manager side. And for that, I'm just going to resize my screen a little bit here to get more visibility over to the technician aspect of things. I'm going to go, again, this is Service Manager. Most folks are going to be somewhat familiar with it, so I won't spend a lot of time going through things. What I'm going to do is I'm going to search for requests, and specifically I'm going to search for requests that happened today, let's say in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes or so, since that's really the time period we care about. Oh, there's been 2 that come in. I'm going to look at this newest one, assuming that that's ours, since we're running a test here. We can see that our related SMAX ID is 30717, and our request number in SM is RF316660. So it is important to note that because we are introducing a separate portal effectively, there is 2 records that do have to be kept in sync. There's the portal record, which we see on the left-hand side, which is separate from the fulfillment record, which is Service Manager over on the right-hand side. Since Service Manager is in and of itself a back-end fulfillment mechanism and has been in place in a lot of organizations for many years, of course there's going to be workflows already built out in Service Manager. And these workflows are not going to change. In this case, we're leveraging the exact same workflow that this type of request would have come through from the retiring service request catalog effectively. So that workflow can happen independently of the portal ticket workflow. You could also take advantage of the fact that in reality, this portal ticket does turn into a full-blown request in the SMAX backend. So you could take advantage of the ticket and that capability if you wanted to start to evaluate what it looks like to migrate off of Service Manager and onto SMAX. If you wanted to potentially start that migration and have some teams work out of SMAX, you absolutely could do that as well, while some still work out of Service Manager. There's lots of options there, lots of flexibility and capabilities for customers to pick and choose what is right for them. Let's see. So last thing we want to do, forgot about the comment that we added. We can see that the end user, in this case, added a comment. It shows up here that I started my role last week, so I really need this software. And I'll just add a comment here. Will provide ASAP. ETA is, what is today? I don't know. I'm going to say ETA is Thursday. And visible to customer, because I want that to be visible to the customer. Of course, if I don't check that box, the comment doesn't go over to the service portal. Therefore, it's not visible to the end customer. I'm just go ahead and click Save on that. When I click Save on that, that effectively causes a record update to occur inside of Service Manager and subsequently trigger that comment being synchronized over to the service portal. Over in the service portal, if I just click the refresh button here, since I already have this ticket brought up, we can see that the original comment that Dan did the approval 5 minutes ago, I added a comment as the end user 3 minutes ago, and then Falcon, the administrator of Service Manager, provided a comment here just a few seconds ago. So you can see that through live integration between Service Manager and Service Management Automation Service Portal, which is the new portal for Service Manager moving forward, we can get live integration back and forth. Last thing, I guess, before I go, it's important to note the user options, right? I talked about this. Not all integrations handle user options. So this is an important feature that a lot of customers are using today in their legacy service portal product, service request catalog. So just to articulate that those do come through. We do, in the Greenlight version of the integration, we do the translation for all of these types of things. So we translate date fields for you. We translate lookups if it's a lookup table that's being used in the drop-down menu. We do the translation against the static list if it's a list value. So we do those translations, package those things up, and send them over and correlate them to the tickets in Service Manager. Catalog offerings from the service request or from the request portal over here on the left, they can drive lots of different ticket types in the backend fulfillment system, Service Manager in this case. So in this case, we demonstrated requests. If you had support requests that came in from a portal perspective, or if you had previous catalog offerings that generated incidents or changes, we do that as well. We just chose to demonstrate on a request here for simplicity's sake this morning. With that, I'll go ahead and wrap up. I definitely appreciate everybody taking some time out to watch this video. If you need any help, feel free to reach out to us at greenlightgroup.com. You can send me an email directly, Torrey@greenlightgroup.com. That's Torrey at greenlightgroup.com. Greenlight Group is all one word, lowercase, normal things there. With that, again, thank you for watching, and look forward to talking to you another day.